Welcome back to another video. Today I am talking about the Hügelkultur mounds. It's been a while since I've posted a video about them, so I thought I'd provide an update on where they are now and kind of share some notes and ideas on how they're doing and what types of plants I might want to grow in them. So let's check that out. Alright, so this is the first Hügelkultur mound that I constructed in this garden. You can kind of see things have broken down pretty fast. The logs haven't broken down fast, but the logs the logs are still here. Obviously, it's been about 2 seasons. They're heading into their 3rd season now. However, you can see some really good fungal growth on them. So they are breaking down, and they are participating in the decomposition process, regardless of how slow it may be. Now, I could have piled on more organic matter on top and such, and that may have sped things up a little bit, but I've been kind of short on resources in terms of that. But I do have some sod, and I had some other sticks and organic material on top, and that has all broken down pretty well. And you can kind of see the voles have really had a fun time working on making their tunnels in here, and have been really going crazy. Kind of going a little too crazy, actually, looking at some of the other plants I have in the garden. But these guys have really made quite a home here. And now what I can do, I may be able to add in some more compost and dirt and soil on top of here, and kind of smooth out the edges, and kind of smooth out some of the holes. Maybe plant some non-food crops here, but maybe some plants that can help fix nitrogen, maybe help with the phosphorus levels in here too. Maybe to kind of help compensate for the loss of nitrogen from that the logs are taking up in the decomposition. So maybe I can plant some soy or some buckwheat, maybe both as a companion kind of cover crop to kind of help prime the soil here, help speed up some and enhance some microbial growth, help balance some things out here. I don't know if the voles will let me do that or not, but it might be worth a shot. Because I have a pretty big bag of soybean seeds that I'm not totally sure what else to do with. So I've heard that soy can be a very effective plant at facilitating the fixation of nitrogen in the soil. I mean, I don't eat it or anything, but if it can help benefit the landscape around me, then I will go with that. And of course, the buckwheat can be used to collect the seeds, and you can make like a porridge out of that, or use it for flour. The leaves might be edible too. I've eaten those before. But yeah, so there you go. Maybe I'll add in some wildflowers too. And I want to point out that a lot of these dried out, dead plant matter, leafy kind of material here, that was all Pennsylvania. That was all bittercress, plant in the mustard family, wild plant, and it was growing quite well. And even it had sprouted up in the fall and was actually growing through the wintertime back in December. And it's now early March, and that has all since kind of died out. Now there are some plants that are still alive, kind of scattered, but these are more towards the center of the Hügelkultur mounds, whereas on the edges it dried out. I don't know if it got too cold. Or if we had a bit of a dry spell, or if these areas are just too close to the logs, and if the logs are taking up nitrogen, if that will just kind of kill the plants over the winter. I don't know. Now this might be horseweed sprouts, I'm thinking. Consia canadensis. And the bittercress is, I believe, Cardamine hirsuta. But yeah, I had also been adding in some lawn clippings as well on top of here as well, to add in some more organic matter, nutrients, and kind of a mulching on top of the soil. Okay, here we are with 2 other Hügelkultur mounds, and there's a 3rd one way in the back over there as well. That third one is not quite as far along as these other two are, but I've been just using that to pile on any other debris and detritus that has accumulated in the garden in certain areas where it might be suppressing plant growth or whatever, any trimmings or clippings, plants that might be growing too closely to other plants, or certain plants that we might refer to as weeds may find themselves on here. So it just gives me a nice spot. So having a Hügelkultur mound that's in the process of being constructed, it gives me a nice spot to be able to cast any other organic material that has to be broken down during the growing season or during the winter time or whatever it may be. And that way I always have some place to go with that excess organic material. So basically having a Hügelkultur mound that's in construction gives me a place to put any yard clippings, trimmings, prunings, weedings, anything like that in a place, and I don't have to, instead of taking it to some municipality or anything like that, I can just be working on building one of these slowly, and it just gives me a spot to be able to accumulate any excess and turn it into hopefully a functional garden bed in the next few years. So turning our attention back to these two guys, you can see there's a tree in back here. It's a maple tree. So having these two mounds here really gives an excellent opportunity for a leaf catchment. But yeah, these guys are doing pretty well. We have some bigger logs underneath, and then some leaves and plant stalks and stuff like that on top, some grass, some sod. But these are pretty much a year behind the first one I showed in this video, so they're not as nearly as broken down, and there's not so much soil that I had put on top of these guys, or compost. Something though that I could definitely do to speed up the decomposition process. Otherwise, they do give a really nice leaf catchment. They give a bit of a windbreak actually to some of the plants on the other side, because a lot of the cold prevailing north winds come this direction. So having these three huge hugel mounds in the north-ish corner of the garden actually provides a really good quality ground, provides a really good strong windbreak, helping to prevent erosion or plants from getting too cold. So it kind of helps to modify and condition a bit of a microclimate in this garden here. So even if these aren't vegetatively productive, they actually have some really good landscape uses as well. Nonetheless, I may try to throw some compost on top of here, maybe some soil on the top, and then plant some leguminous crops or something like that to help kind of facilitate the breakdown and decomposition of these hugel mounds a little bit more effectively and a little bit more quickly. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video and this update. I'll probably be sharing some more notes when I start planting, just to kind of show you how things are progressing, what types of plants might get planted on the Hügelkultur mounds, how I'm going about integrating these more into the garden and into the landscape. But yes, thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned something, got something from it. Take care.